Hello, and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Foster Garrett, Director of Marketing and Events for the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, let me just tell you what's going on. Every week, I interview a different chamber member to find out what they do and why they do it, right here at Watts Creative Studios in Bedford, Virginia. Before we get to the actual podcast, though, I want to tell you about some upcoming chamber events. We have so many things always going on, but we are coming to the conclusion of 2023, and it is so exciting because we only have 3 things on the books right now. There are going to be more ribbon cuttings and things cropping up. There are a couple awesome new businesses opening or coming to Bedford that I know of, so just keep an eye out for that. But for now, these are the 3 things that you should come to. First of all is this Sunday, November 19th, we will be at Woods Goods and Mercantile, which is off of 460 near the YMCA, for their first annual festival, which is the Christmas at the Mercantile Festival. We're so excited. I love Woods Goods and Mercantile just as like a business that I enjoy, but also the people that own it are so nice. They actually came to Bedford specifically after visiting from Ohio, and they just love it here, and it's really incredible because you can tell the care with the new store and everything. Each room is like a different theme. There's different vendors. They have a refilling station that they're putting in. They want to have a cafe. They have wonderful books and antiques and arts and plants, and it's just a really great addition to the Bedford community. But yeah, come out this Sunday, November 19th. We will be there at 12 p.m. for a ribbon cutting to kick off the festival, but it goes from 12 to 4. After that, we are having our last Align Before 9 morning networking event on December 5th at the Welcome Center. Destination Bedford is hosting us. That's our tourism department. They always host us in December for the last Align Before 9 of the year because they have their amazing festival of trees. This has gotten so big. It is so incredible. I've already seen some of the trees being posted. But it's very exciting, and you should come out December 5th. They have a wonderful spread of food. It's from 8 to 9 a.m. There's no charge to come to any of our networking events. We always say, bring your business cards and grab a friend and come mingle with us. Enjoy the food, enjoy the conversation. And the very last thing that we have on the calendar this year is our holiday open house at the chamber office. This is actually, very funnily enough, the only event that I have hosted since joining the chamber in February that will be at our office. So come by the office, come see us. We don't often bring people into our own space. We have people visit us and call us all the time, but this is the only time that we have an open house of our own. So December 15th from 11:30 to 2:30, our office is right next to Municipal Building on Main Street in Bedford. Come hang out with us. We're going to have a great spread. It's going to be really fun. We had a lot of people come see us last year. Use that time off that you get in December. Come check us out. But it'll be really fun, and we're really looking forward to it. But you can find our full calendar of events on bedfordareachamber.com, and you can also keep an eye out for the chamber check-in that I send every Friday. That's our newsletter. Last week was actually the only week that I've missed this year with the newsletter, but family stuff, you know, if you're listening to this podcast and you're a regular listener, you know that I am in and out of here just because of my crazy luck. Woody is laughing because he knows too. But without further ado, let me stop rambling and get to our actual guests. But I'd like to introduce Sue Croft and Carol Toms, who are with Croft Insurance Services. Thank you for joining me this morning.
And thank you for having us.
Of course. Well, before we kind of get to the question and answer portion, can you both just tell me a little bit of background about yourselves and about Croft?
Okay, I'm the owner of Croft. It's the given name is Croft Senior Services, Inc., and we do trading as, Croft Insurance, because when I first started the business, it was when it was in June of 2004, when Rubbertex had gone bankrupt and they had lost their insurance coverage. So I started working with the Unicare Medicare Advantage program, and that's how I called it Croft Senior Services. But now we actually work with, other facets of health insurance. Yeah. So we call it trading as Croft Insurance Services.
Excellent. So which one do you prefer?
Croft Insurance.
Croft Insurance.
Croft Insurance.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Well, Carol, do you have anything?
I joined Sue about a year and a half ago. I went to her for help when I retired from banking, and she was wonderful and drafted me. So I started a new
Good
career
draft.
in insurance, and I'm loving it.
Well, awesome.
And Carol actually started training with us on the medical savings account.
Really?
We had in Virginia a group medical savings account, and it never actually launched, but that's when she started her training with us. And now we do have a group that's going to be launching January the 1st, which we'll talk about a little later.
Oh, really? Oh, that's excellent.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Well, cool. So did you come to Croft for to enroll for yourself?
I did.
Oh,
I did.
awesome.
Yeah, I was so confused by Medicare. I thought I need help, and Sue had such a wonderful reputation. So I went to her, and yeah, the rest is history. She helped me. It was wonderful. And I thought, I want to do this. She helps people, and I really like that. So yeah, I hopped on board, and it's been great. It's been a crazy ride, but I love it.
I know you guys have been really busy this season.
Been.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just love it.
I know. I always tell people I'm 23. I don't know that much about a lot of different things. So treat me as a layman. If you want, you can give, just treat everything as, just a cheat sheet breakdown. Because I love, I see Carol all the time, and I see you all the time, Sue. But do I know that much about the inner workings of insurance? No, most people don't.
Most people don't. You're right.
But that's why it's important to sit down and talk about it like this.
And Foster, people forget that their health insurance is their number one financial risk. Because years ago, when I worked in the financial services industry with American Express and some of the different companies, that they always made that a priority, that their health insurance is their number one financial risk. So it's very important. I remember when I was working, I'm 75 now and have Medicare, of course. But when I was working in the general public, I never knew what type of coverage I had.
Yeah.
Now, my sister does, because she's one of those people who wants to know every little thing.
Yeah,
but I wasn't. And most people aren't one of those, you're like me.
Yeah, I'm I have coverage. I guess I'll figure out what I need to know when it's time.
Right. If you get sick, that's
if I get sick, but then it's the worst time to learn about it.
Right. Exactly. But what we do, or what I have made a policy, is that I like training the people when they come in. I like for them to know. So we have a consultation of an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
So I ask them, if it's near mealtime, have a snack before you come. Because I actually, draw out, what Medicare looks like, what's covered under A and B, and what it costs, and, what are the alternatives. Because when I first started the Medicare Advantage in Virginia, it was a private fee-for-service. And that's just like getting your care from the original Medicare. There's no special authorizations or coding, or you get all your Medicare providers. But now with the HMOs and the PPOs, they have restrictions that, I wasn't accustomed to. And we also had a medical savings account, which a lot of the real estate people down near Halifax actually took.
Oh, really?
So I'm excited to see the medical savings account coming back as a group.
Can you talk a little bit about the medical savings?
Sure, sure. Well, when the Affordable Care Act came out, a lot of the companies were forced to drop their retirees because they could not afford the coverage, because the government made such demands on what they must cover. And it didn't mean anything to the retiree because they weren't going to use those services, but these costs were extravagant. So that's when the companies just dropped their retirees, and a lot of them didn't even get compensation for a premium that they wanted to, find something.
And is this what happened with Robotex as well?
No, Robotex actually went into bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So they lost their health coverage and they lost their prescription coverage. At the time, we did not have a national prescription plan.
Gotcha.
That came out in 2006. A lot of them lost their life insurance. But it was odd to see that, and I didn't realize this, that the cost for $10,000 of life insurance, final expense, would be more than the cost of their Medicare supplement. That was amazing to me.
Yeah.
So I think it's important for people to realize now that, if they need something that's portable, their life insurance that they can take with them if they leave, and they're not having to reinsure themselves at their current age, of course, which is much more expensive. So that is very important. But Robotex people, a lot of them had never taken Part B of Medicare, the medical part, because Robotex was self-insured and they never needed it. So those people had to wait from June until January to sign up for the Medicare B.
Yeesh.
To get it active in July. So they were a year without coverage,
Yeah.
It was really sad, but I actually, discovered this Medicare Advantage with Unicare. And we had the director from, come out from California to talk to the hospitals and, any of the physicians' offices that needed it, to let them understand that they're just billing Unicare instead of Medicare. The same codes, for all the, and it's like Medicare is a fee for service.
Yeah.
So every service, like an MRI or a blood test or an office visit, they're services.
They're accruing fees.
And then they have a fee for that service. And Medicare has what's called an approved or an assignment amount. So that, say they charge $3,000 for an MRI. Medicare approves around $200. So the 20%, that, we would have to pay is like $40.
Yeah.
That is astronomical. That is just almost unbelievable. But it's great for us on Medicare. But a lot of the providers find, it's difficult. But there are so many of us and becoming more of us baby boomers. But now the medical savings account is just like the original Medicare. It's a type of Medicare Advantage. And Phoenix is the name of the company that's sponsoring this Medicare group Medicare Advantage, medical savings account. And it is Medicare Advantage. So, but they go to any Medicare provider. The prior authorizations, which is a big topic now, even in the Senate, they're talking about with the HMOs and the PPOs out there, that a lot of people are unhappy with those prior authorizations. And so I think in 2025, we're going to see a lot of changes, come about. But now by law, a medical savings account has to have a zero premium. Yes. And then, the government gives money to the carrier, Phoenix. Phoenix will then deposit depending on which plan that you take. And of course, with my company, I signed up as a company and then I've signed myself up. So I've taken like the middle of the road plan with, say, $6,000 deductible. So they're giving me a $2,400 tax-free savings deposit.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. So then the max out of my pocket, no matter how sick I get, is $3,600.
That's awesome.
Wonderful.
That's
yes.
amazing.
And so they're like people who have the G or the F Medicare supplements, they can't touch this low max out of pocket, nor any of the Medicare Advantage plans. Because if a Medicare Advantage plan is an HMO, they're
I hate to ask, what is it? HMO? What is it?
Health
PPO?
Maintenance Organization,
Okay.
Health Maintenance. And they have to have a primary care provider that they go to. And they've relaxed a lot of these rules for the Medicare HMOs because they've been forced to be competitive.
Gotcha.
Now, a PPO is a preferred provider organization, and they can go outside the network. But of course, they're going to pay more.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is this insurance carrier finds all these providers that agree to give them a discount, say like a lab, a hospital, doctors, all of that. So now if you go to those providers, then you'll get a discount. But if you go outside it, then that's when you're out of your network and they can charge a little more.
Gotcha.
But, and, Medicare has something, like I say, called the assignment amount. But a lot of people aren't aware that there are just a few providers in our area, and it's very few, who don't accept assignment. They take 15% more than the approved amount, from the, client or the patient. But that, I think, is reasonable for a lot of people, but it helps the provider not have to go borrow money to operate, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But this Medicare savings account, I just think it's really good. I have a list of things that, that apply just to the medical savings account, and different from the HSA is the participant, we, cannot contribute. Only the government can contribute. But people who have retired with a health savings or some type of I'd say medical fund of money that they can, get in, well, I'm trying to say they can use it and access it is the word I'm trying to say. If they can access it, well, this is perfect for them. And another thing about this medical savings account that we've never had before is Phoenix, the insurance company, pays the provider.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
They pay it from the savings account.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the providers were a little leery about working with the plan, even though there's no network or any special circumstances. They just were afraid they would not get paid. So now they are going to get paid. So if, say, for instance, I had a health savings account, which I don't, or say a lump sum of money that my employer had given me, well, I can give them that information and they would pay from there, not from my savings account. So it's very flexible.
Yeah.
It's very flexible. And another good thing is a lot of people, dental for seniors is so important. So if they see the word, the feathers go up. Oh, I love this. I love this. But what we're finding with our local HMOs and PPOs for our Medicare Advantage, we can't find providers for the dental. So with the medical savings account.
Why do you think that is?
Well, from Dr. White, my dentist, they don't pay them enough. In other words, the pay is so low that they can't.
I get my dental through Peaksview Dental. So like from them specifically.
Right. And they, I understand, have their own plan that you can buy into. And I think that's great.
It is great.
But, they say they're just not paid enough that they can do it. And two, when you have to start filing paperwork and all this, that takes another person.
Yeah.
And that cost is included. So, but with this medical savings account, if you need dental, you can go and use the money for that. If you need a hearing aid, if you need glasses, like my toric lenses, for my surgery, for my eye surgery, my astigmatism and stuff required me to have these toric lenses. They're like $700. Well, I could take that from my savings account because it's any IRS approved service medical service that you can use it for.
That is very flexible.
Right. Because what we find out with the traditional Medicare Advantage plans, the government gives a lump sum per person to each carrier. Now, sometimes they do what's called a health risk assessment. So if you have a very sick person, they might give that carrier more money. Or if they're a star 5, they get more money, so they can give more services. But at the current time, we don't have a star 5. We did last year with United Healthcare. But if you don't use those services as the client or the patient or whatever, or the enrollee, you've lost money because they have to take and smooth the money from one place to another. I call it like smoothing it out, so that if you want some dental and all of that, you pay a little higher for your health care. So if someone is looking and they jump into a situation and say, oh, that dental looks so good, but then they can't use it, they've actually wasted their money because they're going to pay higher for their health care.
Gotcha.
Right. And that's not happening with the medical savings account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, interesting. Is the medical savings account, is that something that you guys currently offer? Is that something you're implementing?
We're implementing. It's effective through all 50 states, January the 1st.
That's awesome.
Yes. And the people, the companies that we enroll, we just have to be licensed in the state that they are incorporated in. So their membership can live all over the United States. So, especially like, say, the university, they have retirees, their professors have retired, all in the north, south, west, whatever. They can join this. And it's always a zero premium. So they're never out of network because, it's all 50 states and DC, the District of Columbia. So that's wonderful that it's so simple.
It is very simple. At least it seems like to me, which is, if it seems simple to me, it probably is.
One thing I would add is any funds that are not used from that savings account remain. The customers, they roll over from year to year, so you can build that savings.
That's excellent.
If you have a stipend from your employer when you retire, or you have an HSA, you spend those funds and build your MSA fund. It's a great product.
That is a really great product.
And the only premium, though, Foster, that they can pay with this money is for their long-term care.
Gotcha.
But they can pay for these exorbitant meds like Eliquis. And now most of our insulins are just $35. Anything that was made by Eli Lilly, they are $35. But the Lantus is not a $35, medication. So we're telling people to, check with their provider to see if there's something else they can take, in lieu of that. But we've had so many changes that have really, I think, helped the senior market. But in 2025, we are going to see, quite a few more changes because of if people will, want to find out what's really happening, they can listen to these Senate meetings and stuff like this on, I forget the channel on TV, but once in a while I'll sit down and watch it too. It's something I don't like to listen to every day, but if I have a certain topic I'm interested in, they might want to tune in. And now for us to write a Medicare Advantage or Part D, we have to have what's called a scope of appointment. We have to have it 48 hours before we meet with the client.
Gotcha.
And so they've implemented that again, the 48-hour rule. Also, with this, we have to have disclosures that we don't offer every plan. So we have to say how many plans we offer in the area, so we have a lot of stipulations and rules that we have to meet. And that is for the PDP and for the Medicare Advantage plans.
PDP.
Oh, it's prescription drug. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking.
Of course.
We forget.
It's all good.
And, as agents or brokers, we're not allowed to call people.
What?
Yes, we are not allowed to call. So basically, someone refers them, or we can send out a mailer and they can respond. But we have to get permission to call signatures. We have this little permission to call pad, and, people will just sign up. You can call me. But so it's very restricted to how we work with seniors.
Is that like a Medicaid specific?
Medicare.
Medicare.
CMS. Yeah.
CMS
Centers
rules.
for Medicare, and Medicaid.
Thank you, Carol. But why is that? Is that because some seniors can be taken advantage of by?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we all know that in any industry, it's a few bad apples in the barrel.
Yes.
And it makes it difficult. And we all know that those bad apples know how to get everything else spoiled or whatever, but they're going to find their way no matter how, strict the government comes on, so many of us. They are going to find the way to do these other things.
Bad agents always find a way.
That's exactly right. But we do not charge for our information. We do these, no fee consultations for people just to learn. And that's actually available all year long. So I say if someone is, thinking of retiring even in 2 years, it's not too soon, 2 years out, to come and find out what
your
options are.
Yeah.
That's right.
We also do little seminars locally to educate people about Medicare.
Awesome.
And it's never wasted. Never wasted information.
That's right.
It's always good to know.
And then
and the rules change. They can change. So to keep abreast of everything, it's a good way to do that.
Well, that's wonderful. I feel like there are people that go through their jobs and they feel that they, have a mission with their work, but there are some people that act it out and go above and beyond. I know you guys do so much, but it really is important. And I'm glad that you enjoy it, because clearly if you're enrolling people like Carol and then you bring them onto the team just from, your experience, you're doing something right.
Most of our employees I've gotten that way.
Are you serious?
Yes, sure. Because they come in. Now, I offer a product that very few agents will offer because the commission that we receive is so small. And this is called the high deductible plan, and it's with an F, Plan F, and a Plan G. Yeah, Medicare supplement. And I've offered this now for about 10 to 15 years. This year, it means that the deductible max out of pocket is $2,800 for 2024. Their premium at 65 female starts at like $33 a month.
Oh, wow.
So if you take even $400 or $500 in premium plus the $2,800, say $3,400 total, but they're not spending all of that, the $2,800, unless they get sick. And that was really the point of a Medicare Advantage, because if you got sick, you would pay. If you didn't get sick, the money's in your pocket.
Yeah.
And I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, I agree.
And then also with the Medicare Advantage, if they go several years, or like here with the high deductible F and G, well, and they don't get sick, they've saved money. So when they do, if they get sick. But what a lot of people need to think about is they are not aware of the rules of going in and out of a Medicare Advantage. Can I come out anytime? Well, it depends. Are you in a trial right? Are you trying? Because the government says all of us can do a trial right. We could try a Medicare Advantage for 1 to 12 months.
Oh, wow. That's a long time.
And then we come out, we're guaranteed to go back into the letter, like C or F, D, whatever, G plan, the supplement plan, without medical underwriting. So that's a good way, but you can only do it once, So I like to wait, if people like their supplements, until they're at least 78, almost 80, because I'm 75. And so I'm going on a Medicare Advantage plan now because my supplements are almost $200 a month. and it's a G. So I can stay in it a year and go back to a G if I would like that. But of course, when we think about, okay, say 75, and in 10 years or 13 years, the premium is going to escalate because they're called attained age Medicare supplement plans. That means each year your premium will increase just a small amount for your age and then a little bit for inflation. Okay, so they're going to increase a little bit. So about 10 to 13 years, they've gotten a little up there.
Yeah,
so
really.
That's when I recommend that someone entertain the idea of a trial right. So they'll use their trial right so they can come back to a supplement if they choose, because by this time they're up in their 80s.
Yeah.
So I try to, use that common sense when I'm working with someone. But the high Fs and the high Gs, like my commission is like $6 to maybe $10 a month per person. So actually 90% of my business is that.
Interesting.
And we have over 5,500 clients there at Croft.
Good, great.
But we have
a lot of people.
I have service, and we service a lot of people.
Yeah.
But they appreciate the fact that it's affordable for them.
Oh, yeah.
And I do know that when they came off of like a Medicare Advantage plan, Medicare Advantage plans require upfront copays. So what we did at Croft is we helped people who needed assistance with the hospitals and, I should say charity grants. We help them with their financial statements, put them on file with different providers, and we don't charge for that. We also help people file for the low income subsidy. And then there's a question there that if you don't answer it, social services will send them an application to apply for help with their Part B premium, the medical premium.
Yeah.
Yes. So, and then it's also called the Medicare Savings Program, where they can get help with their, certain things like the cost of, the cost for that Part B premium, like it's $170 some or whatever. And that means a lot to seniors. And I like to go ahead and get them in the system, even if they don't need it that particular year, because we never know when they might. And then someone might not recognize that they need it and they fail to get them enrolled. So I just do it from the beginning. If you need it, we get you enrolled. And also a lot of times, say a husband and wife are living off their Social Security and most of their investments are in their home. Well, if one of the spouses passes away, then they've lost a lot of the income. So that situation has changed. So it's nice for clients to let us know when that has happened. And most of the time, if they are our current clients, we know that. And we help them look to see if there's anything that, can help them,
Well, excellent. Well, what would you say to a senior that is not insured and is not sure if they have the money up front to get insurance?
Okay, in that situation, if they cannot afford the copay, I have advised seniors, if they're in that income level, don't take anything.
Really?
Because with the original Medicare, they can get their care and be billed later. So they can see any provider. So I can lay my head on the pillow at night knowing that I did not prevent someone from getting their care.
Yes.
So with a Medicare Advantage, if they're required a copay, they may not have the money. They may be out of the network. So I actually had a lot of clients come in and say that they weren't getting their care because they didn't have the copays. Now, the copays for a primary doctor in most of the plans have been reduced to zero.
Really?
Yes. That's because of competition in the industry. And then the specialist, a lot of them start at $15 and go up to say $30, $35, but you don't see many of them over that.
Yeah.
But still, if they don't have $35,
you don't have $35.
They don't get their care that day. So my heart was broken And that's when I really started offering the high deductible F's and G's, because I said to them, if you can afford a specialist, 30 some dollars a month, it's best to do that. And you can see any provider, you can be treated at any time. So most of the people that I was working with wanted to do that. So that's how I got started with the high F's and high G's.
Gotcha. Well, good. It's good to know that I have been giving the right advice on Facebook because there's so many people that, the Chamber, we're a big referral recommendation organization. We have so many people that offer great things. But me personally, I don't know. Facebook is a little addictive in Bedford because everybody is asking questions all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I always I don't answer as myself. I do anonymous, but I always try to say I think this business could help you. I think this business could help you.
Okay.
And I did say to somebody to make an appointment with you guys to see what you thought was best. Well, good.
Now Melody can help those under 65.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, she does work with the Medicare, but she also specializes in the Affordable Care Act.
Gotcha.
And just wanted to mention that Piedmont will not be in the marketplace this year. So they have assigned their insureds over to Centera. And it was Optima. And then Optima has become Centera. And people will see this ad on TV and on billboards. So the people who are with Piedmont, and they'll be transferring over to Centera.
No.
They will want to see someone or get it taken care of before December the 15th to have it effective January the 1st. December the 15th is the cutoff. Now they can, if they wait, then they'll have Centera for 1 month, but they'll have until January the 15th to make their selection, their final selection.
Well, great.
So just thought I'd mention that.
Thanks. For those who can't see my face right now, I have just added another thing to my many list to figure out.
Well, Melody can help you.
Thank you. I might have to make an appointment. Well, what are some of the other, because I was assuming, well, I wasn't assuming, but what are can you just give me a quick rundown of all the many things that you offer?
Well, basically, we are a health insurance specialty. That we don't do auto, we don't do any of the property and casualty stuff. We will write, final expense policy, but we do have a relationship with Wayne Aaron, Aaron and Associates down in Danville, who write our large life insurance policies. Gotcha. If someone's looking to fund an estate or, whatever. We send them to him, and because he has access, because actually we're so busy that we just don't have the time to do the research that's necessary.
Yeah.
We do have a young agent with us who specializes in the cancer and any supplemental benefits that they're pretty much looking for. So we, find someone to help them. But another thing that I thought we'd mention too that's very important is if people have someone who's on Medicaid, they've now named it Cardinal,
Okay.
that so many of the people must reapply, and they are trying to get them letters out. But we were up at the Ram House this week, helping some of the people on Medicaid. But when we called the state for them to help them, they didn't have their old address. The person didn't have their old address. They don't have their Medicare cards. Or Medicaid cards. So if they can't answer yes to every one of those questions that this person asked them from the State Department, then they can't help them. They have to go down to Medicaid or the Social Services Department. But this person did give this gentleman a name and a number to call.
Nice.
So I just thought I would, put that out there. But if their address is not current with the state, they are not going to know. And say the first of the year, their Medicaid will be cut off. They won't receive it.
Many times they won't know until they go to the doctor, and then can't get services.
That's right.
Yikes. That is really bad.
So we're trying to get that word out, and we can help them, guide them to where to go and, what to do. Because a lot of times they don't have Medicare, they just have the Medicaid. So there's nothing we can actually do for them, but we can guide them so that they don't lose their Medicaid.
My job before working at the chamber was working for the Virginia Employment Commission.
Oh, okay.
So I know, as everybody always says, but I think it's amazing that you got a name and number, because that's a challenge with many, many government entities. You get it, you don't get anything. You really don't get anything. And it's not that nobody wants to help you. It's that they don't have a good system.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I was excited too for this gentleman, because we couldn't do anything for him personally, but I said to him, let's just call and see if we can't determine if you are still approved for 2024. And that's when we found out, they started asking him all these questions. So it's only from experience that I learned this.
Yeah.
In helping someone this week.
Well, that's exactly why people need you by their side too. Literally, though, it is such a needed service.
Yes.
Well, I know that Carol is often out of the office doing a lot of cool not just insurance things. Do you guys have any types of events that are coming up that you'd like to talk about?
Would you like for me to tell them about our event in January?
Yes, please.
Well, with all of us, let me share this. Carol has been helping us with marketing and getting our name out there, because since I've had Bell's palsy for over a year now, I have not been out. So, because it was very difficult for me to talk and to actually see. So Carol has been a tremendous help, but it's really going to help her now that she's going to be working with all these employers, with the group medical savings account. But one event that I wanted to, think about having, and Janet Pagans put it together for us, is to find out the history of Burke's Hill. Because we have a client that comes in and he talks about, the history of the years, things he used to do there on Burke's Hill. And it is so interesting. So on, let's see, January the 20th, from 12 until 3 at the Bedford Welcome Center, we're going to have this open invitation to anyone who wants to come and listen to Parker Nance talk about the history of Burke's Hill, and then anyone else who can add to it. We'd love to have you come and join in and make it, a panel discussion, because in fact, I have a picture here of the house at 728 Burke's Hill that the Living Grace Chapel Church, bought, and at 728 Burke's Hill. It's just down from us at 706. But I think initially they were planning to use the home, this, home for office, for church or offices or whatever. But because of the condition of the house, they, tore it down. But from what I understand, it was like the second oldest house in Bedford. And so last night I went to the it's YouTube for Living Grace Chapel, and they had actually a tour of the house.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So if you would like to see that, and I did not know at the time that we were invited down to see the home, but so I missed that. But you can look at the YouTube and see this, but the history, and from what I understand from one of the contractors that was working on the house, is the old, like the ornamental pieces and this and that have been sent to Roanoke for them to use in some of the historical homes up there.
Excellent. Well, good.
Isn't that nice? That is so nice. And then, Parker spoke about down Roberts Lane. It used to be like where the carriages and,
That's the circle on the hill, isn't it?
Yes,
Yes. Yeah.
How they would come and actually, the house. I have a picture. He gave me a picture of the house where the people would come and stay. When the stagecoaches would come through and all
That
this.
is really cool.
Yes, and actually, there was one piece of the outside on the porch, a little piece that he gave me. I have it hanging in our foyer there, and it's really neat to see.
Yeah.
So I just got interested in what's the history of Burke's Hill and that area there. So everyone is invited, to come, and especially if you know the history. It would be tremendous for you to come up and all of us meet and, have a good day. But we're going to serve refreshments and up, and we like just going up to the Welcome Center anyway.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
beautiful place.
The Welcome Center is great. I think a lot of people don't realize how nice it is inside and that they have their conference center and an awesome gift shop.
You're
And
right.
so much information.
Excellent.
There's always people there.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't, forget it and try to spread the word to anyone, because when I heard that there was a Judge Burks, and how his daughter, all this information, I just think it's wonderful. And then the house that my office is in, 706, someone talks about a Dr. Mitchell. And, so I would love to know more about, the place there. So if anyone in town knows or they have relatives who would like to come and share, we would love to, have this. We hope to record it. Because once, Parker or some of these people are gone, we don't have this history any longer. So that's really important to us. But it was really cute right after we had moved in and I had the drive paved. All of a sudden, I started seeing a sinkhole in the backyard. And I'm like, in the pavement, and I'm thinking, what is going on? So finally, it fell in. And it was evidently the doctor that had lived there had like an underground storage place.
Oh.
But anyway, it was concrete, like a 3-piece, up, across, and down. And in there, he had jars with bones in them. And I'm saying bones, but they were like for birds. So they told me. I have no idea. I was on the road, so I didn't know.
Carol didn't know about this.
I did not know.
But it was funny. I was calling the police department. Have you heard of any sinkholes here in Bedford? Downtown and everything. I was saying, this is strange. So when it fell in, then, we had to have someone come and clean it out and fix it, so that it won't fall in again.
Sink again.
Yeah. So you never know with some of these old places,
What did you do with the jars of bones?
One of the agents there took them, so I never saw them, actually. I don't know what he did with them.
It's probably best for us not to know.
No.
Well, very interesting. I'm sure that Leslie Mahaffey with the Bedford Museum would be very interested in this event.
They would love those bones.
Yeah.
I'll have to talk to this agent. It was actually Grafton Pageant. So if he hears
Grafton
this.
is my insurance guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe you can ask him if he kept those jars of bones.
I'm also going to tell him how creepy it is for him to just take the jars of bones from the sinkhole.
So, but yes, we would love to have people come out and share the history of, that section of town, because like I say, when he's gone, that history's gone.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Is there anything else you ladies would like to add this morning?
Actually, for 2024, I'm planning to do a monthly Medicare workshop.
Oh, nice.
Anyone that's interested in having me come to their workplace or function, senior groups, I'm glad to do that. It's just so much good information. It's always timely. And a lot of times people just don't realize or are not knowledgeable and don't know what's available. And so I like to get that out so people can understand it. Because I know I did not understand it at first, and it's really necessary information.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, Carol.
And I'm looking at posting those on our website. So
very nice.
Anyone that's interested can go to the website. If they want me to come and do a presentation, I'll be glad to do it.
Amazing.
Another amazing thing that we're doing too is Les Plymel, one of our agents. He is going to be certified with the Social Security certification so that people will actually go to him with their Social Security questions instead of having to go to the Social Security office.
That's awesome.
So he will start his designation in January. He'll start his course, in January. And I think it'll be about 6 months. But that's going to be a tremendous addition for us because as we go into companies offering this group medical savings account, for their retirees or whatever, then he can consult with some of the people who are getting ready to retire because we get complaints that they're unable to get through to Social Security, and so actually, like I say, with what we do is we help people open up their Social Security accounts and assist them with their Medicare.gov accounts so that we can see what they really have. So we're trying to be, provide services for people that they find difficult, to get elsewhere.
Especially in Bedford County.
Yes.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for joining me this morning.
Well, thank you for having us.
Of course. This has been extremely informative, not just for me, but for our listeners. And it's really cool that I think a lot of people pass, your office on Berks Hill and they say, oh, there's Croft. And then they don't think anything of it until they get to the age where they need your service.
Right.
But everybody should know how much you guys do for our community. And if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do so?
Well, they can, call our office, and that's 540-586-3500. But they're welcome to go to our webpage. I think we all have, something about ourselves so you can know where, what our background is because a lot of people want to know why you think you're so smart and why can you tell me about this? What makes you, certified to tell me this? So I like for people to know about the training that we've had and that the agents have. And actually, we are brokers because we are not just offering one product. We offer really every product out there that an agent can offer, because if they don't allow us to sell a certain product, then we can't.
Yeah.
But other than that, we are licensed with them, all of us. We spend mostly the month of September, let's say August and September now, certifying, to be able to offer these courses.
Well, excellent. Thank you guys again for joining us.
Thank you.
And if anybody has any questions for the Chamber, you can call us at 540-586-9401, or you can visit our website for more info about our mission and the perks of becoming a member. And on our website is a full business directory of our membership, so you can find Croft and other great businesses and nonprofits that are part of our Chamber. Really helpful for finding all sorts of great things in the Bedford region. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening, and keep an ear out for the next Chamber Vibes podcast.